What were you saying?
That's okay. I was just wanted to know a little bit about what happened because I spoke with the cab driver when he told me about the shelter location. He mentioned that she was given an alternative address for the women's shelter and that they were going to take you there. So what happened when you arrived?
Okay, this is Gabby M.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened? What did you do?
I spoke with
What did you do for placement of the shelter? What happened with placement of the shelter? That's why I called. Because the doctor required that for discharge for me to be placed in a safe environment.
Okay, so I'm trying to backtrack and
I'm just asking you, I called for a purpose. What did you do? What did you set up? Because he put that in the discharge requirement for me to be placed in a safe place. So what did you do?
Well, remember we discussed you going to a shelter.
Which shelter did you set up for me to go to?
Union Gospel.
Okay. Was it for men or women? A man or a woman?
They have two locations. So they have a female and they have a male location.
So which one did you set up for?
Well, the one I gave the address to, but it was a mistake, so I provided for the male. However, I spoke with the cab driver when we found out that it was the incorrect address. And
what with the cab driver does not have any influence on getting me in a safe environment. Did you call and make arrangements for me to get shelter in another location?
Well, to the Women's Union Gospel.
You made arrangements for me to be at the Women's Union Gospel mission?
Yes, we do assessments from 10 to 6 p.m. So I want to know what happened when you got there.
They said that they were full, like a multitude of locations have done.
Okay. So how can I be of support now?
The same would, we remember it was hard for me to get the placement and I wasn't able to be discharged because they had problems. I told you about the crimes being committed to keep me from shelter.
Yeah, I remember.
And then you said it was impossible for you to help me get in a domestic violence location, as it has been for all locations for years.
I didn't say that. Remember we sat down to call the family place?
Right, and she said that it had to be within 24 hours, and then I called back and it was full. And that was the only place that we called, and you wanted me to call the place that would put me out when the car sped up like it was going to hit me.
Mm-hmm. What car? When was that?
That was 2019, and the lady that was at the family place was also at the hospital, and police wouldn't take a report of her threatening me.
Okay. So I see that you, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but your caller ID says you're at the Westin Dallas. Is that correct? So, if you're okay, being where you're at.
Okay, well, what's the name of the place that has availability on Monday? So this is Women in Need that you have set up for me, 903.
454 4357.
And where are they located?
They're located in Greenville. That's what it says here. So remember I told you domestic violence shelters do not provide their address until they speak with the person that is interested in helping. I wish I had more information to give you in regards to the location, but because they want to keep everybody safe, they don't give us that information.
Okay, so they'll take me in Monday. How would I get there?
So that's something that you can discuss with them.
Okay, who was your contact person?
Well, I just called and I spoke to whoever answered the phone. I just told them that I know somebody that needs extra support, and they told me that they won't have availability until Monday, possibly Tuesday, but
okay, because people have played games with me years that run around and scams because I'm blacklisted from all domestic violence locations. So what typically happens, I call and it's the run around in games, and then I'm not accepted for years. So I don't understand how social workers don't have contact information that are trying to help me, and then you have me set up for the men's part. You claim it's on accident, but we already had all this problems for me getting placed in shelter before. I had been discharged the day prior, and we couldn't find shelter. Did you know that's a civil violation, a violation of my rights to blacklist me from shelter in a crisis, and repetitively to get away with it year after year?
So how can I
For a
support
lot of
you?
conspirators and that conspiracy to violate civil rights, I thought that was a felony. I'm not quite sure what kind of crime it is, but that's criminal.
Okay. Well, Tiana, if you're having a hard time, I encourage you to go to the nearest hospital.
What does that have to do with crimes being committed, ma'am? Are you gaslighting me?
No, I'm just saying,
Because
you
I'm
have to
reporting
be
criminal
different.
activity, conspiracy to violate civil rights, and people. There's a solution to the government not being able to abide by the law is for me to go to the hospital. Why am I being blacklisted from law enforcement and social worker assistance? So you as a social worker recommend for me being targeted and violated and threatened at that hospital, thefts at that hospital, and blacklisted from shelter. And so you did the child abuse report, gave me a confirmation number, and your solution to all that madness is to go to a hospital? Are they
Well,
going
for
to do
the
law
time,
enforcement at the hospital? Or are you trying to be funny, as they've been for years?
no, ma'am. I'm just trying to be helpful.
Okay, so as a social worker with a woman fleeing a domestic violence crisis, you tell all women that can't flee the abuse because the government's involved to go to a hospital? That's your solution to get the situation resolved? I was already there and got threatened.
Okay. So tell me how I can help.
Well, you said that you called women in need and to call them Monday and they would have placement, but you didn't speak. You don't have a party for me to speak with. It was just up in the air. I played this game years.
Well, it's because it's the general number that you call whenever you need support. So that's just the number that they gave me. So you can go ahead and call so they can support you.
Okay, ma'am. I've had to play these games years. So you accidentally set me up to go to the men's shelter. Is that correct?
And then you were taken to the women's one.
And then they were full. But here's the thing: if you knew that it was imperative, and the doctor put in the discharge for me to be placed in a safe environment, how did you accidentally do that? And why is your resolution for me to go to a hospital to combat that mistake?
Well, the reason why I'm telling you to go to a hospital is because you're telling me that you don't feel safe. So if you're not
So if I don't feel safe, what is a hospital going to do because you didn't do anything there? I got threatened there and nothing was done. And I had a theft. The only thing that was done is they up medications for schizophrenia, and that's not what I reported. I reported trauma from being violated.
okay.
I just don't know how much more of these crimes I have to endure, ma'am, in this conspiracy when people are going to rack up the charges they've earned. So you did report the child abuse.
I did.
Okay. And you did report that the government's behind it.
Yep. Everything that you told me to put on the CPS report, I reported.
Okay, ma'am. Well, I'll call this place and you have no name and you claim that I can go to Greenville, but I've had endured this chaos before. They set me up to go to places and it never happens. It never pans out because there's no name, a definitive person to speak with. It's a con. But I'll try them Monday.
Okay. All right, Fiona. All right. Well, take care, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Bye.
Bye.